Today, I watched Nymphomaniac, and I did not plan, when I decided to watch this movie, on making a video about it. I didn't plan on reviewing it or talking about it. It was just kind of I saw it, I decided to watch it, and it was, to be honest, I didn't expect much from it. I saw it on there. I made sure basically that it wasn't Skinamax, that it wasn't just some late night, low rent type, what do you call it? Like X-rated porno movie. And then I'm like, oh, it's an actual story, so I'll watch this thing, right? And I read the synopsis, and I'm like, okay, wasn't expecting much. In fact, I thought it would kind of be like a comedy, because, like, I couldn't see a serious movie being called Nymphomaniac. Okay, so I saw it. It's called Nymphomaniac Volume 1. And then I made sure that on Netflix they had Volume 2, so I went ahead and watched the movie. Now, like I said, I was not expecting this at all. And this movie turned out to be really good. Like, really good. I was really intrigued. Like, I wanted to keep watching, and it really surprised me. Like I said, a movie called Nymphomaniac, you think maybe it's some silly comedy. There's going to be a lot of just gratuitous sex that doesn't make sense in the story, and it's just silly. No. Now, there is a lot of gratuitous. I wouldn't even call it gratuitous because the movie is based on this woman who's an nymphomaniac. So it's an essential part of the story. However, it's not the real story being told here, and that's what is so great about it. Like, sex in this movie is just the string that holds the story together. It's like the common theme throughout. However, it's just a really good dramatic film, and I had never heard of it, and that's what's crazy, because I don't know, it seems like something I would have heard of, because for one, it was really good, and for two, it's called Nymphomaniac. You'd think there'd be some stories about that. You'd think there'd be, some hustle and bustle, like some news. You think that would be newsworthy, right? Or like a movie's coming out called this. But I figured out it's a European film, and maybe it didn't go super mainstream. Like, I don't know. Maybe I don't know why I didn't hear of it. That's what I'm saying. It definitely would have probably not been in the theaters because of how graphic the sexual content is. If it was, it would have been definitely an NC-17 rating. This is probably the most graphic sex scenes I've ever seen in a film. Ever. In a regular film that's not like a pornographic film. Very graphic sex scenes, very graphic nudity in this thing. However, it's not, I don't know, it doesn't seem tacky. Like, it seems, since it's the theme of the movie, it makes sense. And it does catch you off guard, though, like how graphic it is. You're like, whoa, I didn't expect to see that. But what's great about this is just the story, man. Like, I love movies that are biographical, right? Like, they tell the story of someone's life. And that could be Forrest Gump. That could be, I don't know, what's another one? It doesn't matter if it's a true story or not. I just like that idea of, Boyhood. I really enjoy that movie, Boyhood. I really like the idea of telling someone's life story, and I especially love it when it's realistic, where it doesn't all just get wrapped up in this pretty little bow and like, oh, this is the life story, it was all heading towards this, and that's what this movie is about. I like it when it's just a bunch of random things, because that's what life is, a bunch of random, segments of life. You have different chapters, basically, and they don't all connect, and they all kind of lead to one another, but they don't all mean anything to one another. They're not all adding up to this one important thing. They're just what happens to you and the things that you do. And that's what was great about this movie. Like I said, with that name, I wasn't expecting anything like this, but this is like this life story of this woman, from little girl until, I don't know, middle age that she is in this film. And it's just really good. It's really dramatic. It's really funny. but it's not like slapstick comedy funny. It's not like a Judd Apatow film. Like, it's a serious dramatic film. I was also surprised because I didn't read like who was in it or anything, right? I just started watching this movie and I'm like, oh shit, is that Shia LaBeouf? One of my favorite actors, right? I love Shia LaBeouf. Like, Shia LaBeouf could take a crap on a leaf and I would be like, that's a badass leaf. Like, it doesn't matter what he's in, I enjoy it. And so seeing that he was in it, I was like, oh shit. And then Christian Slater is in it. Willem Dafoe is in this thing. Uma Thurman is in this. Like, a lot of these big names are in this European film that I'd never heard of. And it's this long, epic film, right? It's split into two, so this is Volume 1 that I watched. And I haven't watched Volume 2 yet, so I have no idea what's going to happen with the story. But so far, I'm really enjoying the story. And I love the way they separate it into chapters, right? Because like I said before, it's like real life in that way. It's like, yes, this happened, and then, a few years later, this happened, a few years later, this happened. But they didn't all have to happen, like, to make the story work. You know what I mean? It's like, these are just segments of my life that made a difference or made an impact, on my psyche, but wouldn't necessarily mean anything to anyone else. They're just central to my story. Like, to me, I look back and they stick out. I just love that. And they broke it into these chapters, right, of, like, important moments. Or important... It's not even, like, moments. It's almost like, okay, here's a 6-month span here. Here's a week span here. Like, I'm going to give you these little stories that really meant something, right? And I just loved it. I loved how they did that. I loved that they separated into chapters. Every chapter was like a different story. It had the same central theme, which is this woman is a sex addict, and it has a huge impact on the way she lives her life. But the story is way bigger than that, right? That's just the common theme. And it was just really good. Every chapter, I'm like, okay, well, like, who knows what's going to happen in this next chapter? I have no idea. And then, it unfolds, and it's great. Like, I wouldn't recommend this for everybody. Like, this isn't, for one, there's a few people who shouldn't watch this movie. One, if you have a problem with, like, graphic sexual content, or, obviously, if you're, like, a child, you shouldn't be watching this movie. If you're a person who's sensitive to that type of stuff in a movie, or squeamish or weird, makes you feel awkward, like, maybe don't watch it. But, yeah. So those people shouldn't watch the movie. People who are just into, like, blockbuster films, or, like, action movies, or people who just like romantic comedies, like, you're probably not going to enjoy this movie. But if you enjoy a really good dramatic film, I think you're really going to enjoy it. Because I was really caught off guard by this thing. I really like it. And I can't wait tomorrow. I think tonight or tomorrow I'm going to watch Volume 2 and see how the story plays out. Watch a few more chapters of this thing and, see what it brings. But, yeah, and it's just like this little gem that I found accidentally on Netflix, right? And turned out to be this really cool film. So, yeah. I'm excited to watch Volume 2. Has anyone else seen this movie? Because, like, I don't remember anyone talking about it. I've never had any friends be like, hey, you ever seen that Nymphomaniac movie? Like, never heard anyone talk about it. But it seems like when it came out, this is a 2013 movie. That's why I'm saying it's weird that I'd never heard of it. But there seems to be some reviews on YouTube. I read some reviews online, and it seemed like a good amount of people have seen this movie. I just never heard of it. It somehow just skipped my radar. But anyone else who's seen it, please comment below and let me know what you thought of it. Don't tell me anything that happens in Volume 2. Please don't tell me. No spoilers before tomorrow, because I really want to find out what happens. But after that, we can talk spoilers all day long. Anyway, that's it. That's all I got for today. This movie really surprised me, kind of blew me away, and that's it. I'll see you in the next one. I'll let you know how I liked Volume 2, and if you like this type of thing where I just rant about movies or topics that I'm interested in, random bullshit, subscribe, because this is what I do in most of my videos. I just talk about stuff I want to talk about, and a lot of times that's cinema. So, subscribe for more, like this video if you like the movie, and we'll see you in the next one.